Imagine walking into your local Starbucks, handing over $5 for a latte, and unknowingly depositing money into one of the world's largest unregulated banks. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Starbucks isn't just selling coffee, it's playing the banking game better than most Wall Street firms, pocketing billions without a single teller window. Today, we're diving deep into how Starbucks turns your daily caffeine fix into a massive financial float. A hidden cash machine that keeps their money working overtime while you sip and forget. This isn't some Wall Street secret reserved for suits. It's a blueprint any smart American can understand and maybe even copy in their own life. Why does this matter? Because once you understand the float, you start seeing where real money multiplies. Not in crypto hype, not in day trading dreams, but in boring, everyday habits of giants like Starbucks. If you enjoy videos that break down money and business in a simple, honest way, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who should see this. Let's rewind for a second. Starbucks started in 1971 as a tiny Seattle shop roasting beans. Then, Howard Schultz steps in during the 80s and 90s and flips the entire concept. Suddenly, it's not just coffee, it's the third place. Home, work, and Starbucks, a place Americans hang out, kill time, and casually drop money. By 2023, Starbucks had more than 38,000 stores worldwide, pulling in around $36 billion in revenue. That's massive. Quick pause. But here's the part most people don't think about. Most customers don't pay with cash, they pay with credit cards or apps. You swipe, Starbucks gets the money right away. You, on the other hand, don't actually feel that pain until your credit card bill shows up weeks later. That timing gap is where the float is born. Now the main story kicks in. Picture this. You buy a $5 latte with your Visa card. Starbucks gets that $5 deposited into their account almost instantly. Cha-ching, but Visa doesn't bill you until the end of the month, and maybe you don't pay that bill for another 30 days. During that window, Starbucks is holding your money. They can park it in short-term investments, they can use it to pay employees, they can use it to open new stores, all before you even feel like you spent anything. Multiply that by millions of transactions every single day. Quiet beat. That's not coffee money anymore, that's a river of float cash. And this isn't small. In recent years, Starbucks has reported over $1 billion in customer advance payments sitting on its books. That's gift cards and app balances waiting to be redeemed. But the real monster is the app. Starbucks Rewards has tens of millions of active users in the US. People casually load $20, $50, sometimes $100, and then spend it slowly over time. Starbucks is sitting on roughly $1.5 to $2 billion in unredeemed balances at any given moment. Tiny whistle. That's money they can hold, invest conservatively, and earn interest on. At current rates, that can mean tens of millions of dollars a year in extra income from money customers already forgot about. Slight, sad chuckle. So who wins here? Starbucks, obviously. Their finance team treats this float like a zero-interest loan from customers. It helps fund store expansions, it smooths out cash flow, it even supports stock buybacks. Shareholders love it. It boosts returns without Starbucks having to borrow more from banks. But who loses? Pause. We do, just a little. That money sitting in your Starbucks app isn't earning interest for you. Inflation is quietly nibbling at it, and small coffee shops can't compete with this kind of financial muscle. They don't have millions of people pre-loading cash. Regulators mostly ignore it because Starbucks isn't technically a bank, no FDIC insurance, no reserve requirements, just vibes and lattes. Now think about the psychology behind this. Little grin. We load gift cards because of rewards. Buy 10 drinks, get one free. It feels good. Dopamine hit. Starbucks designs the system so you front the cash and forget about it. Real-world example. During the pandemic, when stores shut down and foot traffic collapsed, redemptions dropped. People weren't spending their balances as fast. Starbucks' float quietly grew. They earned extra millions while a lot of small businesses were barely surviving. Small pause. Kinda wild, right? Let's put some clean numbers to this. Starbucks made around $36 billion in revenue in fiscal 2023. In the US alone, about $25 billion of that came from domestic sales. The cost of coffee, milk, cups, and food runs roughly 30%. Labor and rent chew up another big chunk. By the time the dust settles, Starbucks is left with healthy operating profits. But layered on top of that is the float. With average daily sales in the hundreds of millions globally and payment delays from cards and app balances, Starbucks can be sitting on billions in temporary cash at any given moment. Park that in safe, short-term investments at around 4 or 5%, and you're talking about tens of millions of dollars in mostly passive income just for holding your money a little longer. Slight exhale. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Most people miss this part. Here's the big reveal, the turning point. Slight pause. This float isn't accidental. Starbucks engineered it. They aggressively push digital payments. Today, the vast majority of US transactions at Starbucks are cashless. The app isn't just a payment tool, it's a vault. You preload money, you chase stars, and a big chunk of that money sits idle for days or weeks. Unlike a regulated bank, Starbucks doesn't have to hold reserves. They can deploy that cash immediately. The aha moment is realizing your caramel macchiato isn't just funding coffee beans, it's helping fund a global empire. In a weird way, Starbucks is running a shadow banking operation powered by habits and caffeine. So what can you actually take from this as a regular person trying to get smarter with money? First, notice the floats in your own life. Prepaying isn't evil. Sometimes it's convenient, sometimes the rewards are worth it. Just understand the trade-off. Second, if you run a business, think about creating your own float ethically. Gift cards, subscriptions, prepaid services. This is how companies like Airbnb and Uber manage cash flow too. Third, treat your idle cash like Starbucks treats theirs. Don't let it rot in a checking account. High-yield savings, T-bills, short-term funds, even 4 or 5% adds up over time. Fourth, if you're a small business owner, learn to manage timing. Get paid faster. Pay vendors on reasonable terms. That gap can quietly boost your margins more than most marketing tricks ever will. And finally, gently question your brand loyalties. That free drink feels nice, but multiplied across millions of people, it's a financial machine. Starbucks proves something most people never notice. The real money in business isn't just in the product, it's in controlling cash flow before the customer even realizes what happened. Next time you scan that app, tiny pause, half smile, remember this, you're not just buying coffee, you're helping bankroll a behemoth. So now I'm curious, what other everyday company do you think is running a secret bank right under our noses? If this video helped you see money differently, like it, share it, and subscribe for more deep dives like this.